What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Jason. I want to make this video today. I want to go over the state of baseball. And, what do I mean? Stuff that's going on, stuff that I'm noticing as a fan, and that I'm sure a lot of other fans are noticing too, that are not only COVID related, but indirectly COVID related, but it's just stuff that I've been observing. And I want to know what you think, okay? Number one, obviously, COVID is, has baseball succumbed to the COVID pandemic. I get it. And, it's pretty much nothing we can do about it. Now, is COVID the reason why baseball, this season was cut back and so on and so forth? Yes and no. Yes, it's the virus itself, and we don't have a vaccine or a cure for it, and that's obvious. But more importantly, the awful response to it. It was ignored for months. Called a hoax. I can't be more ashamed of that. It's just awful. And people have their political views, and fine, but never call something like this a hoax, no matter who you are. Propaganda does not overtake science, okay? And medicine and facts. It doesn't, okay? It might for some people in an alternate reality, but this is a real deal, okay? And, it's important. Now, enough of that. And it has happened. Obviously, it's caused the baseball season to go from 162 games down to 60, and in some cases, less than that because of flare-ups that are going on everywhere, and teams having to miss series or a bunch of games, and you'll have more teams playing maybe 50 games or maybe even less. It's a shame, but that's the situation, and they're doing their best to get through it. In some situations about folks were irresponsible and they were at clubs or bars or whatever, and in places that are not taking COVID seriously, like Florida, and places like that. But with that said, sorry, that was a bug. The situation is the situation, and one of the things I've noticed too is, and I thought about that, I felt this way for a long time, is if we had missed if they missed the whole season, it would have been a disaster. I think for a lot of the baseball players, not obviously monetarily and stuff and so on and so forth, but from my observations too, as a former competitive athlete, baseball and track, and emphasizing the need for downtime, obviously, and recovery from a long season, that's obvious, but I think in some cases downtime has become a little too too down, I should say, and particularly in this situation where they ramped up and then had to shut down because of this pandemic, but there was a possibility of it happening again at some point. They had never said they were going to cancel the season. I'm not sure a lot of the players stayed game ready, and it was important that I think in my experience, I think it was important that they did, because you can see now a lot of guys are getting hurt for just random stuff, whole quad pull, strained calf, and Steven Strasburg out now with a wrist injury, and some other guys out too, a lot of Tommy John cases. And now those things happen on a regular basis, but they're happening in bunches now, and it was inevitable that certain guys were gonna suffer injuries with having to ramp back up in a 3-week period, which is never ideal. But one reason I love Garrett Cole is because of what he said before the season started. He stayed after postseason was shut down. After spring training was shut down, he stayed game ready. He obviously went throwing 100 pitches every time, but he stayed game ready, and you could tell. It's obvious that he's healthy. He's pitching well. And will he pitch better? Yeah. It takes a while for guys to get into their grooves, and for some reason, the Yankees, whoever comes on the Yankees, they take part of the notoriously slow starting aura that the Yankees have. But it is what it is. And but staying game ready, I think, has put guys in a position to stay healthy and minimize the potential of injuries or avoid injuries. Now, speaking as a former competitive runner who also played baseball, one of the things that I noticed is staying in running shape really helps minimize the risk on the lower body, particularly these guys that are, the offensive players, obviously, and the pitchers, but to a different extent. The pitchers stress their arms more than they do their legs, but that doesn't mean they don't run, okay? And obviously the position players, infield, outfield, they're always running, okay? And most of the running is fast twitch muscle involvement, sprinting, okay? Going from down, you're at home plate, trying to throw somebody out, getting up really quickly, sprinting out of the box, trying to go to first base, tagging up from first to third, second to home, whatever. There's a lot of fast running going on, and it's basically from zero to fast because of the ball being put in play. So, the importance of a good warm-up routine, one that keeps you loose throughout the game, or movements that you could do to stay loose, and perhaps doing some sprint training a couple days a week all throughout the year, okay? And again, obviously downtime is needed in the 162-game season. I get it. And weight training is important. All the other things they do is important. But I think if they're not doing sprint training or training like a 200-meter runner or a 400-meter runner a little bit or a couple times a week on a consistent basis, I think it'd be a good idea for a lot of these guys to do that, because I think it could help mitigate a lot of these lower body injuries, okay? As a Wharton-certified musculoskeletal and flexibility therapist, it's troubling to me that guys can miss 6 weeks for a strained calf. 6 weeks? Really? Or a strained quad, being out. Like, there are things that you can do to speed up the recovery, and again, put yourself in a position to, not repeat that stuff. Now, this stuff, just even for the most finely tuned athletes, and most diligent, does it happen? Sure, it does. But the idea is to lower the risk factor, minimize the potential for these things to happen. So, I do think, I just wanted to make that observation that, never going too far away from game shape, even during the off season, is a good idea. Okay, it helps keep the body moving. It helps keep the joints lubricated. I call active flexibility WD-40 on the joints, and doing other things. Obviously, everybody has their specific skill set, and stronger in areas and weaker in areas. But this is an opportunity, I think, for that would be a good idea, and I hope that these folks consider it at some point if they're not doing it already. And I'm speaking from 20 plus years experience as well. And I did play baseball all throughout high school and past high school. And one of the things I noticed was a lot of groin pulls and hamstrings, and particularly when guys weren't warmed up enough, or warmed up enough when the weather gets cold, or hydrated enough in the heat. Like little things like that, they really make a difference. Okay, now enough of the science talk and the politics stuff. I want to talk about the main meat and potatoes of the video. That's karma, baby. Yeah. One particular subject of karma, the Houston Astros. Now, I don't want people to get hurt and suffer career, threatening injuries and so on and so forth. But I love that the Astros are getting pounded by teams like the Padres. And I think the Padres are a good team anyway. But, I love that they're not in first place right now. And I do think it is still possible for them to miss the postseason. Is it less likely? Yes, because of the expanded postseason format now from 10 to 16 games. But they're not playing well. And, I do hope that they miss the postseason, particularly since none of the players were suspended for the cheating, okay? Only the GM and the manager and the coaches, which I think is absolutely absurd, okay? So if that's the karma, that they get, that's the karma that they get. Do I enjoy seeing them hit by a pitch every now and then? Yes, as long as they don't get crippled or hurt for life, or have their career ruined. Yes. Do I love seeing them getting beamed? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so that's the karma part. There's, and I respect the teams that are going after them for doing this stuff, as long as they're not trying to threaten people's, again, livelihood or whatnot. That's just part of baseball too. And you have guys who protect their teammates by doing things like that and so on, and I get it, and that's part of the game. it's just fun right now watching the cheaters not playing well when they don't have that type of help available to them now. And if they did, how much more evident it would be because there's no fans in the stands. How much easier it would be to hear and notice stuff like that. It's just nice. Now, their talent is talent. Their talent is evident. So they're going to be solid one way or another. But it's nice seeing it. And particularly, since they cheated their way to the 2017 title and took my Yankees out in the process. So the bitterness is a little bit there, but so is the happiness. It's bittersweet, baby. But I hope the Yankees get healthy. I hope these other guys from the other teams get healthy. There's no reason why we should have 10 guys in the DL at once, or the IL, whatever the hell you call it. That's just absurd, those numbers. We gotta get these guys healthy. And again, this stuff inevitable, where guys bound to get hurt. Certain guys, yes. Particularly ramping things up in a 3-week period. That's not ideal for anybody. But hence the importance of staying fit, staying, game ready when there are no games. And that's that could really put people over the top or sink them, unfortunately. So that's my video today. Hope you enjoyed it. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. My regulars, you guys are the best. Thanks so much. Love you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so. It's really, really helpful to the channel and YouTube, helping it grow. And please hit that thumbs up if you enjoy the video. And if you want to see other videos, make sure you look at my list. I've got over 100 on my channel, so subscribe. And if you want to see future videos, hit that notification so that you know when I put new ones out. And I put new ones out every week. So be safe out there. Look out for each other, and I'll talk to you next time.